Welcome to What Sold, the channel where we just show you the things that we bought and sold online on eBay. We'll show you our store, what we paid for it, what we earned, and any information we think could help you. Let's do it. All right, to start off today, we've got this, what they call a micro mosaic brooch. So it's a brooch. As you can see on the back here, it's got this pin. It's got a safety latch, so it's not too terribly old. But this is something that they make these in Europe. This is an older piece, more of kind of like a brass color, kind of tarnished. But you can see in here, you've got like this glued in pieces that are tiny pieces of like ceramic that are colored, and they've glued them into place to make a picture. So it's a mosaic, but it's small. It's a micro mosaic. I find these fairly regularly of various shapes and sizes and patterns, but I never pay more than $3 for them. That's what I paid for this one, and I put it up as a buy it now, about $45. Didn't get any buyers, reduced it down to $38, and then finally sold it. Next up, we have a pair of earrings, and this, I bought these at a thrift store as well. These were just $1. They're kind of a brushed gold color, and they've got these small rhinestones glued into place that look kind of an aurora borealis, that iridescent look. Doesn't seem like something that would be all that valuable at first glance, but if you turn it over and open it up and you look, then you'll see that it's branded by the Weiss company, which is a mid to upper level costume jewelry brand. Their stuff usually sells pretty well. This is an easy purchase, $1, and within a week on Buy It Now, it sold for $48. Next we have, and look at this, in the title. I was just rushing. Look at this. I misspelled Stanley. How dumb. I mean, I make mistakes too. Sometimes I'm moving too fast. People understood what this was, though. Stanley brand, that's a well-known and respected and collected and used brand of tools. They still make them today. This is a vintage piece. It's some sort of like a cabinet scraper, almost like a hand plane, but has a kind of a singular handle there, wooden handle with a little wooden knob that you could, push it and scrape things. This came out of a lot of tools. I talked about it in the last couple of videos because I've been selling them slowly over time. I paid $125 for probably 150 tools. 2 or 3 tools out of that lot got me all my money back, so everything that sells now is just profit. So I had nothing into this, put it up at auction after it didn't sell for a couple of weeks at Buy It Now, and ended up getting the bids for $20.50. This came from the same lot. Again, I have nothing in this anymore, and these are just blades that would have been on the end of kind of scraping tools or chisels. One of them still had the handle left, although it was detached. But people can refit these with wood. Sometimes they polish them up. They have other uses for them. Again, on auction, $33 for that lot. And again, I'm kind of back to back. I had a bunch of these sell. Some little hand planes, various brands. Here's one, Corsair was a brand on this one. I'm not sure what the other brands were, but they're still usable. Made in USA, it says. So whatever that brand was, it was manufactured in the United States. This is probably from like the I would say 30s to 40s. Could definitely be cleaned up. People completely disassemble these and put different chemicals on them to clean them and get the rust off, and then they sell them as new, or like not new, but like refurbished. Sometimes they just get them to use in their own workshops. Again, $20 bid on that. I was happy because I'm moving these things out of the way. They take up a good amount of space and they're kind of heavy. So they're not like the ideal type of thing to sell, but if you can get them in lots like this, make your money back, then you stand to just make total profit off of it. Here is another small lot of hand scrapers, Stanley brand on one. Actually, 2 of them were Stanley brand and the third was not. 5 bids, $36. Now this was awesome. I sold this for a friend locally. Asked, they were moving to a new home and they needed to downsize and move some stuff. This was given to them as a gift. They had nothing in it. They didn't expect any good amount of money. Probably $100, $200 is probably what they're expecting. It's exciting because they don't even know yet that it sold for this, and I'm going to get to walk in with over $1,000 for them. This was a vintage clarinet, but it's a very, very high quality, a really nice brand. Professional musicians use this exact item. It had no damage on it. It wasn't cracked or anything, which, because it has wood, sometimes these have cracks, or parts of the metal pieces are starting to loosen and come off, or things like that. But this was in pristine condition for its age. Crampon, I guess, is the company. Buffett or Buffet is the model type, and this was I think in the key of B. Going down here, see if I can find that's the serial number there. Yeah, R13B. So I think this is a B note, or in the key of B. Ones that were in B flat were selling for like $3,000. So if you ever come across this brand and it's in good condition, just know that they can bring high values. I didn't know this ahead of time, but once I started researching it, I thought, wow. I started it as low as, I think I started it on auction at $400, and it was bid 26 bids. I had like almost 40 watchers, so it was exciting. So this is just an example to give you information. I didn't make any money off of this. This is going to the person who owned it, but I know now to go out, if I'm out and I see this, it's definitely worth picking up. Next item we have here is just a lot of vintage cufflinks. Some of them involve mother of pearl, kind of this darker shell. This on the upper left, the light blue, is just a metal kind of design with a blue enamel kind of coating over it. The lower ones are etched. They're pretty. One at the top here didn't have the partner, but people do crafting things with these. Sometimes they sell them. Sometimes if they're made out of silver or have gold filling, they'll harvest the gold from them. There's a variety of reasons, but this particular lot had nothing in. It came from a large jewelry lot. I've already sold all of that. $12 on auction. More tools. I was really happy to start moving these because they're heavy and they take up a lot of space. I don't love shipping them because of the weight, and that causes the shipping costs to be higher, but it is what it is. I had a great deal. Here was some more just small little hammers. This upper left one had, it was entirely made of brass, which was kind of cool. You'll see that a lot. $14 as I buy it now. Here we got some more of these little beads. A lot of these little beads that go on charm bracelets or necklaces can be made by, it could be Murano glass made in Italy. It could be, have sterling silver end pieces, which these do. They say 925, that indicates sterling silver. And I got a bunch of beads and jewelry making items. And there were probably 40 or 50 beads in here of glass beads that were sterling silver. And I have been selling these off over the last month for, I list them for $11 when I get watchers. I send them offers for, $8.99 or $9, and that's what sells. Sometimes they sell for a full $11 like this one did. But I'm well into profit here. I have almost nothing, if anything, left in those. So it was a cool buy. Just know that beads and jewelry making items can have silver or gold content, or they can have be made by certain brands that are highly collectible. This next item is a combination. It's two daguerreotypes that it's of the same person, so it's really cool. You can see this one on the left here. This young man, he's probably in his late 20s, I would guess, maybe early 30s, and he's dressed up and he's holding a vintage photo album, which is really cool. That would have had pictures like these pictures in them. And then you have one that's in worse condition, but this is the same person later in life. He's grown out a beard, but you can see like the eyes, he's more squinty, the nose is the same, the hair, the parting, the hairline is the same. He's grown out his beard, also dressed in a suit, kind of a suit jacket. Really cool to see before and after kind of in life. Who knows how old he is here? He might be in his 40s, he might be in his 60s. It's kind of hard to tell with some of these old photos, but I got a bid, $50. These were purchased at different places, and I think I spent less than $10 a piece on each of them. I was probably $14 or $15 in total in my expense. This is just leftover costume jewelry. I've already sorted through all of it. There's no silver or gold, no real collectible brand names. There might be some Avon stuff or some Napier or Monet stuff in here, and I hope that there was a good amount because I want it to be worth it. But when I get stuff that's not as valuable, I'll sometimes put them in these lots of 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, and in this case I got $100, essentially $10 a pound. and I did free shipping on it. So, you know, they got a little bit of a deal on shipping, but it wasn't worth my time. Those pieces would have been not worth hardly anything by themselves. This is a cool story. I bought, so we've done tools, we've done jewelry, we've done, what else we did? Instruments. And here we are, postcards. I sell a lot of jewelry, a lot of postcards. This postcard came in a photo album I bought. I paid, what did I pay for it? I paid $120 for the book, and it had over 100 real photo postcards in it. And as I was looking through, it was mostly people. It didn't seem like individually they had all that much value. And then towards the end of the pictures, I come across this. It's a picture of a man with a child seated in a studio on kind of a box, and the kid's holding on to this paper or this plastic crescent moon with a face. Now, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, jewelry, advertisements, and things, there were a lot of emphasis in the use of moons, full moons, crescent moons, and what I've discovered is that postcards that involve this go for a premium, $100 or more. You may or may not be aware of that. So when I saw it, I thought, you know, there's a potential for me to buy this, sell one postcard and make all my money back, and then all the other cards I sell, that's profit. And it turned out perfectly. I bought this. The very first thing I did was pull out this one postcard. I listed it for $199 and accepting offers. I went back and forth a couple of times, and I ended up selling this. I didn't actually sell it for $160. I sold it for $130. So I got my $100 investment back. After fees, I made about 15 to 20 bucks even on this one item. And then the book and the other 99 postcards that are in there, that's where I'm going to make the majority of my profit. So if you ever come across real photo postcards, so it's from a real photograph, and it's something like this, people with a moon in the background, just know that can bring $100 or more. This was cool. This is a very large garnet. It's not like a facet grade. It's not translucent. It's not the type of gemstone that you would cut and put in jewelry. It's opaque, but it's very heavy, naturally occurring. And you can see how large it is in my hand. It weighed over 1,500 grams, so like a couple pounds. I don't know exactly what the gram to pound ratio is there, but it's heavy, 2 or 3 pounds. I bought this. This came in a rock and mineral collection that I purchased for $200. I've still got tons, gobs to sell, and I've already made my money back on it. So I accepted a best offer of $89 off of this. I was very happy with that. $14 shipping, went out the door, very easy. This I came across in a bunch of costume jewelry. I paid $3 for it. It's a gold-filled vintage necklace, and it's indicated at the clasp up here that it's gold-filled. But what they didn't know, and what I did know because I've sold these before, is that this locket, this pendant at the end, is a gold-filled pendant with a clear plastic outer. And on the inside is just a small collection of solid gold nuggets or gold flakes that had been panned in either Colorado or Alaska. I guess that's what I put in this one. They make them, they used to put them in these and sell them as like a tourist thing in Alaska and Colorado and California, and in some places they probably still do. So the point is, I paid $3 for something that had solid gold in it, and they didn't know. Put it up. Took 2 weeks on Buy It Now, but I sold it for $99. This was an exciting one. At a thrift store that I frequent, probably at least once a week, I came across a little box, and it had 3 sets of dice in them. These are like a hard plastic dice, but the thing that's unique about them is that they are branded, and they were made for use. They meet the requirements to be used at a casino. The proper weights, the proper sizes, and they're branded Thunderbird, which was a casino in Las Vegas. I got 3 different sets of dice, 2 red and 1 green, from 3 different casinos, 2 in Las Vegas and 1 in Reno, Nevada. And you may or may not be aware, but vintage dice that came from casinos, especially if the casino is defunct, it's no longer around, there are collectors for those. They can bring really high value. So I paid $7 for 3 pairs of dice, and within 2 days of listing those 3 pairs, this pair sold for $80. So $7 for 3 pair, $80 in a sale of 1 pair. I got 2 left. and those will sell for between $50 and $100 each themselves. So it's a fantastic buy. If you come across vintage dice, definitely look them up because they probably have some pretty good value. This was a really cool bracelet. It's very dainty, very lightweight. It is sterling silver, but the thing that's unique about it is that it says 1933, A Century of Progress, Chicago. So this was a piece of jewelry made for, exclusively to sell at and to be purchased at the 1933 World's Fair that happened in Chicago, Illinois. I've come across lots of other things, postcards, maps, other different things that you could buy when there while you're looking at the different areas that have been constructed for this World's Fair. And the cool thing about this was A, it's from that event, and B, there wasn't a single other one available for sale on eBay, which meant it's fairly rare. And there's a collectible market for stuff from World's Fairs. The only downside of this is that, as you can see, the clasp at the end was broken. The spring and the part inside that connects it wasn't there. I mentioned that in the description, but it didn't matter. I still sold it for $120, and this only cost me $5 at an antique store. This came in a large lot of jewelry that I bought, and at first glance, I would usually look at this and say, oh, this is just something to throw in one of those 10-pound grab bags. But upon closer inspection, I discovered that it's branded by the Coach company. So this is a Coach brand. You may know Coach that does, handbags and purses and things like that. And these like keychains and bracelets and different charms have value as well. So put this up. It took about 2 weeks, but I sold it for $50, and I had maybe a few cents in it as far as investment. Boy, it's taken a long time to load for these things today on the computer. But the next lot here is just a lot of, I said scrap, but they're actually all wearable. This was just trying to move some inventory that hadn't sold individually. These are all 10 karat gold, solid gold. And so, you put it in there, you weigh it. This involved 1, 2, 3 pairs of earrings, a necklace with a cross pendant, and a tiny little kind of Victorian era brooch that had a garnet in it and seed pearls. And so that sold 9.21 grams, sold for $225, which was maybe $20 less than spot gold price on that day. Gold buyers who melt it or resell it want to buy it below spot so that they can make some money on it as well. Here was a lot of gold-filled jewelry, and I intentionally didn't photo all of the individual contents very well because I want there to be a little bit of excitement, a little bit of mystery around what's in here. I also didn't put the weight. The weight of it's probably about 125 grams. And when I sell gold-filled jewelry, usually I get it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. So I make $1 for every gram. So if it's $100, it's 100 grams, I usually make about $100. This was only 129 grams. So if I had listed that, I would only have sold it for about that. But because I kind of added a little mystery here, I sold it for $175 the same day that I listed it. It was probably full of pieces it was full of pieces. Maybe a handful of those I bought for $3 a piece. The rest of them came in jewelry bags that I've already made my money on. So that whole lot, I probably had about $20 or $30 invested in. Sold it for $175. The next lot here, John Deere branded child's toys, little tractors and trailers and things for cutting and harvesting, and even a little cow here. This was a bag for $3 that I bought at a thrift store. Turned around, sold it as a lot for $30. These came in a thrift store buyout. And when I say thrift store buyout, what happens is I have a relationship with a place that gets so much inventory, they don't have a chance to sell it all. And so what they do is they have stuff on the floor, but more stuff is brought in and donated. It's donated faster than they can sell it. So in the back, they just accumulate all this stuff. And so every few months, I'll come in and typically work out some sort of deal to buy an entire room's worth of inventory that they have not put out to sell yet. I've spent as much as $4,000 at one time on stuff in a room, and the last time I spent about $2,500. But I've done very well. It's a variety of things, everything from tiny things like pieces of jewelry or watches, all the way up to large, heavy items like floor safes and things like that. But this came out of it. It was in one of these boxes, some old fishing reels, the Penn brand, and Pfluger, which Pfluger is a pretty collectible brand. This particular reel was not terribly valuable, but got those up, sold them for $14. I don't mind that it was kind of low because I'd already made my money back off of that entire purchase. Here's some really nice, color and good, condition, generally speaking. Postcards, a little bit of discoloration in the corner up here, but no folds, a little bit of corner wear, but otherwise pretty good. They're all themed with Christmas, all kind of similar colors. I accepted a best offer of $14 for these. If I were to buy these out individually, I would not want to spend more than $2. So let's say I have $2 to $3 invested. Not a big sale, not a bunch of money coming in, but every little bit helps. This was a small instrument. I paid $10 for it at a thrift store. It even came with a little carry bag. Put it up at auction, and in the first cycle, it sold for $50. It was a nice, really good quality, good woods. You can see the fretboard here is really quality. It's a ukulele, and I've already got one, so I didn't need this one. So threw it up, made a quick sale, made $35, something like that profit. Here is a lot of Beatles cards, almost like trading cards, like sports cards, except this was the Beatles. And they did multiple series of these, 1, 2, 3, I don't know how many they did, but this is a handful from series 3. It's just different scenes of the Beatles with this kind of reproduction signatures in blue on here. And so I got this for $1 in a little baggie at a thrift store and put it on auction, sold for $20. A bunch of thematic jewelry, a bunch of Christmas jewelry. I didn't get around to getting this listed around Christmas. That would have been ideal. I would have sold it quicker and for more money, but I had it. I wanted to get rid of it. These certainly have value individually, but the time it takes to sell them and the amount you make per piece wasn't worth my time, so I threw them in a lot, put it up on auction, and sold it for $34. This is stuff that I've accumulated from little jewelry bags. When I sort stuff, I'm pulling out fine jewelry, gold and silver. That goes in one pile. Stuff with brands, of boutique brands, nicer, higher quality costume jewelry goes in another group, and I'll sell those individually. Stuff with lower level branding, or just like good pieces but aren't well branded, go on their own lot. And then if I have stuff that's just Halloween or just Christmas or whatever else, I'll put those in groups and sell them in this way. This is a basic pair of costume earrings. It's a shell, obviously, gold tone with some little rhinestones in the center. You turn it over and you'll notice that it's branded on the back and it says KJL for Avon. So Avon is a brand you may have heard of. Made a lot of costume jewelry. KJL stands for Kenneth J. Lane. And Kenneth J. Lane is sort of a medium level branding or manufacturer of costume jewelry. Apparently at one time there was a partnership where Kenneth J. Lane was producing certain types of jewelry for Avon, or they had some sort of business partnership. And those pieces tend to sell for more than straight Avon branded pieces. I put this up a couple of weeks. I took a best offer of $15 on it. I only paid $2 for the pair. This was strange. This came in the thrift store that I bought. Amongst all the jewelry was this little box, and inside had some cufflinks, but they say Presidential Retreat, Camp David. My guess is that there was some sort of retreat at some time that people were invited to, and as sort of like a present or a gift or a keepsake, people came away with a set of cufflinks that said this. Who knows who they were given to or how old they are, but I just paid $2 for them at a thrift store, put them on auction, $20.50. Same tool lot that I got all the tools that I sold that I showed you previously in this video was this set of tools. These are combination pliers. If you open them up, this portion here would open up and grip things like a typical pliers would. I'll show you here. As you can see, it's got the teeth. You would grab it, but also right here it has a snip area where it could cut wire. So the idea is you could grab wire, pull it out, and then with the same tool, snip it off. It saves you having to pull out multiple tools to do. It's kind of like a multi-tool. I sold maybe 6 or 8 of these this year. They always sell for $10 or more per piece. This one sold for $14. Another postcard, another real photo postcard. Doesn't matter that the corners are roughed up. It doesn't matter that it's written on. But this is a scene of people on a boat along the shoreline in Santa Barbara, California. Really cool item there. If I'm looking at it, I think it says 1907 is the date, so early 1900s. Got a couple of bids, $14 for that postcard. I bought that in a lot. I had nothing in it anymore because I'd already sold other ones. I come across these small Victorinox, or otherwise known as Swiss Army pocket knives, pretty regularly, anywhere from like the normal size, the traditional red, all the way down to smaller ones, and sometimes they're branded by certain companies. So they would make these knives. You could buy them and have your company's advertisement put on them or things. This one was advertised by the 3M company, which you may know makes things like tape, and masking tape or painter's tape or things like that. Sold on auction for one cycle for $14. I would never spend more than $1, which is what I think I spent on this one. So again, some of these items you're aiming to $8 or $10 on, not a big deal. But some of these other ones, like this one I'm about to show you, is better. $3 for this pair of earrings. They didn't know it. They're really attractive looking, really cool design. I've never seen one like it before. These are real seed pearls and a real pearl. And if you turn them over on the back, let me see if I can get to it. Down here at the very bottom, I guess I don't highlight that, but I'll try to zoom in. Right here where you see this tiny stamp, it says 925. So these are sterling silver. So they're sterling silver with genuine pearls and this really cool design. Put them up as best offer, $80. And it only cost me $3. A lot of places have fine jewelry, and they don't that's hiding out, that's either not marked or very inconspicuously marked, and it's overlooked. And so I pay $2 and $3 for silver and gold items pretty much all the time. Here's a card. It's what they call like a little. It's like a trade card or like a little, this is out of a soda, it's like a soda company, Dwight's Soda. But there were a lot of ones that came in tobacco, things of tobacco like cigarettes and things as well. John Player is a brand. Arm & Hammer was another brand, but I get these sometimes in lots. This one I probably got 100 different cards of various animals, dogs, birds, old actors, things like that, and they sell for anywhere from like $8 to $14 a piece, even in this rough condition. So keep a lookout for these. Just a small set of pocket knives, 2 pocket knives, good condition knives, nothing super exciting as far as brand. We got a Barlow here, one Appalachian Trail. But they're good condition. Knives always sell. I bought a lot of knives for $5, and I think it had 10 knives in it. So I take 2 of the 10 knives out, and these sold for $16. Another piece of costume jewelry. This MK stands for Michael Kors. They make jewelry pieces, watches, things like that. Paid $3 for it, sold it pretty quickly for $24. Here's a photo booth image. It's actually one that I took because I have a photo booth, so that's unusual. Most people don't have photo booths, but I do artistic things from time to time. So I took one of my son's action figures, Spider-Man in this case, and I used the photo booth, took some photos, and whenever I print out, it prints duplicate strips. And it's a 4x6 sheet of photo paper. It cuts it in the middle. It gives you 2 strips, and basically one 4x6 cost me 7 cents. So one strip then is half that. 3.5 cents is what this cost to produce, and I sold it for $14. That is something I do regularly. If I want to take kind of a day off, but kind of work, I might go through and make dozens and dozens of photo booth images, print them out, and then I have a day's worth of work of things to list. But if I can sell those for between $8 and $14 a piece, that's a really, really good flip. Here's a lot of costume jewelry. This is just a bunch of kind of mostly gold tone costume jewelry, some vintage pieces, some from like the 80s. These don't have any major brands. They're not super exciting. They're not rare. There's a ton of them out there. That's why I put it in a lot this size. But I have basically nothing left in this because when I get lots, I pull out the most valuable stuff, the stuff that will sell the fastest. I try to sell it quickly, get all my money back, and then this stuff can sell. I'll let the market dictate the value of it. In this case, $20.50. Well, thanks guys. That's the end of today's video. I hope that I gave you some information. Maybe you know some new things to look out for. Please, if you haven't done it, check out the Rusty the Reseller channel, the other What Sold YouTube channel, which is the What Sold podcast. We have a podcast. You can listen to that on streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts or things like that. And the video version of it is out as well. We've got others too. Postcard Planet, High Spirits, Sound Machine. There are a variety, but there should be links in the description of our videos so you can find those. Please subscribe, and we'll let you know when a new one comes out. We do a new video every week. Take care and good luck hunting.